This is a quick video. I like to talk about trees and the people from Twinmotion. So let's start with tree first. So here you see in this scenario, I painted some trees, right? And this tree, is a forest. There's many trees. I want to show you in Unreal is exactly the same as Twinmotion. If you want to paint some trees, you can easily do this through this mode. This is called foliage. You can switch from the default select into the foliage. But before you do that, I want to show you quickly where this tree come from, right? So we all know in Unreal, if you bring some trees and from the plugin resource, this one is already actually a painted tree. I can show you really quick. So in the engine, if you go here and type tree, actually I need to turn on the plugins. Oh, it's already turned on. Okay. So plugins, right? Unreal, the Twinmotion, go all the way to the bottom. Here's the Twinmotion content, right? And here you can go to library. There should be a library called vegetation. And then you can see trees, right? There's basically, this is a hierarchy. You can find the tree material. I will click the deselect the filter. So in the trees, you can find subfolders. Basically, they relate to what type of tree. And then they are 3-dimension. You can just use it right directly in your level. But here's something you want to be careful. The level of detail. This is called LOD for the trees. If you roll over, you can basically see a pop-up menu tell you, hey, this tree take disk size 15 megabits, right? It has this number of polygons, this number of materials. So basically, you need to find a really low polygon tree, which is cheaper than doing a high polygon tree, right? So if you roll over, just pay attention to the file size, or called the disk size. That gives you a brief idea how simple or how complex the tree is. So in this case, if I roll over to the third one, you'll see this guy has only 4.5 megabits. So it's relatively cheaper than other trees, right? So this is important. When you do a forest, don't choose the best super hyper real high polygon tree. Choose a low polygon tree. Okay, so I like this tree a lot. Then the next thing I will do is I will start to paint as a foliage, right? So I will switch my mode from default selection to foliage. In the foliage, this is the place you can click paint and you can paint, right? But before I do that, I have to set up a brush, right? So let's make this content browser a little bit smaller. So here is the different mode. So you can make a selection, you can paint, right? So in the selection, I already created this, but I can start with the scratch. I will just simply remove this guy. Okay, so for you, this is new, right? There's nothing here in the selection yet. So what I will do is I will simply drag this tree brush into the foliage, right? Once you do that, you basically referenced this tree as a component into the foliage. Okay, you can definitely do multiple trees if you like to have a little bit of variation. So you can have maybe another type of tree. Let's see. I don't know. I would just pick another random. So this one is 10 megabits too big. This is 8, which is fine. I will drag this one here. Okay, so basically, it created another component. So you have 2 components in this foliage now, right? There are 2 types of trees. Why this one doesn't show up? Anyway, so you can have as many as you want. So once I have these two trees, then I will switch to paint. You immediately see my paintbrush became a kind of like a sphere. So if I use my left mouse click, you'll see the tree will grow from it, right? Let's undo. I think the polygon, another polygon, the density is a little bit too high. So here, paint density right now is 0.1. I would do 0.01 and paint again, right? You got a little bit different, densities. And also this two tree has a different scale. I think maybe not the best practice. So for the bigger tree, I don't know, maybe I wanna change the scale to make it smaller. So it's one of the setting here you can change. But for the sake of my demo, I will maybe just delete the bigger tree. I only need a small tree. So I can right click, remove. Okay, that's better. I just need a one small tree. So now go back to paint and paint again. I think I need to increase the density a little bit, maybe 5, 0.05. Yeah, we got several trees. Okay, so if you use a WASD to navigate, you can just paint the whole environment. Any place you need some trees, just paint it. You don't have to be worried the number of polygons gonna slow down the engine. Not at all, because this is painted as a foliage. It doesn't really count the collisions and other highly detailed physics. So it's pretty cheap. You can paint a large forest easily using this way. Okay, so this is the same as Twinmotion. You can paint a tree, then I will play. You should be able to see the tree right there. Right, see this is all the forest I just painted. It looks pretty nice. If you get closer, there's no collision yet, which is fun, but you see all the leaves looks really nice. Okay, so this is something gonna help you a little bit for the forest. You might also see some robots working. I will talk about this next class, how to make animated robots. But now, just pay attention to the tree. They are pretty beautiful. Okay, so this is how to paint. If you want to remove or you can erase the tree, is using a paintbrush to get rid of the tree. So you can just get rid of them, or you can paint to add them back. So it's pretty nice, easy to use. Once you're finished, you go back to the selection mode. So that's from foliage back to selection. So that is your default mode. Okay. So that's about tree. Then let's talk quickly about people, right? So people is really something pretty easy to use. If you transfer a person from Twinmotion as a 3-dimension static people, right? They will come in as a mesh. So here, if you switch to wireframe, you see this is basically a 3-dimension people. They are relatively expensive because it's computing geometries, computing lighting, shadows, right? So that is a 3D people. And here you see I have some 3D people here, so here's a couple is 3-dimension, right? And also I think I have a kid. Yeah, here's a 3-dimension too. All right, so that's a Twinmotion people. Another set of Twinmotion people is called cutoff. Oh, by the way, if you want to find these Twinmotion people, right, it's the same place. I will just click browse. So you can see it's under plugins, Twinmotion, content, library, characters, ready post, meshes. It's a pretty long path, but this is all the people you can use. I want to show you is other cheaper way to do people. It's called cutout. I wonder if you heard about this term or not. Cutout means a billboard. So basically, it's a 2-dimension surface. you have an image mapped on top of it. So for example, this is cutout people. If I double click, and you can see they are actually 2-dimension. Okay, it's a flat 2-dimension people. But if I move my camera around, the viewboard is always facing you. So to give you the illusion, it is a 3D people, right? But actually, the shadow, the lighting is not accurate. It doesn't really represent the actual illumination in your scenario. But it's cheap, okay? So that's the cutout people. So if you want to use them, just simply drag and drop. That's it. It's really cheap. There's no burden. You can put hundreds of them in your level. It doesn't really hurt the performance. So here I can show you. I already added some cutout people, right? You will tell the lighting. Actually, let's do a larger screen. You will tell the lighting doesn't look right, but it's not too bad. See the lighting here, right? It's not really accurate, but is all right. So here's another cutout people, and this is the 3-dimension people, right? You can tell, and this is a cutout, and here's a cutout, and here's a cutout. That makes sense, right? Cutout people is the good way to create a crowd. It should be all right. Okay, plus you see this huge hologram horse. I don't know, it's kind of like a Blade Runner, right? You have a gigantic character there. So this is the horse is moving. Next class, I can teach you more about animation. You can bring animated animal into Unreal, but not animated people yet. Maybe the next version you will have animated people. But now, if you want to do an animated object, search horse. Right, you can find this is the one I just added in. In fact, you can find a lot of. I'm just docking this. A lot of animals in the plugin Twinmotion character animal folder. There's a horse, there's a dog. There is animation associated with it. So if you double click, you can actually see the animation of dog. The reason they don't have animated people, I guess, because the complexity of the skeleton. Maybe the next version of plugins would work, but right now there's only animal be animated. It's kind of weird, but you can have seagulls. I don't know. You have some cat. That's pretty cute. So if you want to use this animal in your level, you can simply go to the. I can show you really quick. You can simply click this is called a skeletal mesh, right? This purple color one, you can just drag it in. Right, this is a cat. I can make the cat a little bit bigger so we can see it, maybe a gigantic cat. And then this cat, if you check the properties, right, on the right, it has skeletal mesh. Also, it has animation, right? Right now, the animation mode is use animation blueprint. I will choose use animation asset, right? Then here, I can just click this animate cat, drag and drop. So this is the animation you can attach to the cat, right? And you can check as looping, playing. So now if I play, I don't know, I should have a big cat there, right? So right here, right, you see the big cat is right there, okay? So that's how you bring the animated animal here. In the context of your future retail, of course, you don't have this gigantic cat, right, in a Kroger or Target. So it might be considered this as some kind of holographic image, right? So if that's the case, after you purchase some material with hologram, maybe I will go ahead, apply a material to it. Yeah, maybe this one, this yellow color one. So I can just simply, overwrite whatever the current material is. Right? So the cat became, I don't know, hologram. Right? Let's play. You should be able to see that hologram cat right there. Okay, so that's the whole process. Bring trees, bring cut off 3D static people or animated animal into Unreal. Okay. All right. I will stop recording. I think that's